It is blowing 30 miles an hour out here. And that sailboat halyard has been clanging all night long. They should have pulled that forward towards the bow, and it would have been a lot quieter in here. But as luck would have it, but work doesn't wait, or it could wait, and I'll have other things to do. So what happened here was I didn't fully open the seacock the last time I ran the Genset. What that means is I can no longer trust that the impeller is intact. I will at least have to open it up and inspect the vanes to make sure that they are okay. I do think it's kind of hard to tell whether that casing is above the waterline or not. If you see the exhaust there, that's right where the waterline is. Now what that means, this is probably right where the waterline is, so I want to be really careful. I'm not even sure I want to do this while I'm on the water. I have closed the seacock, but it only slows down the water flow. This seacock, I don't know if I trust that seacock. I mean, fortunately it has dried up ever since I tightened that hex nut there. But yeah, we shall see. I think it's gotten towards the end of its life, but I don't know. Should probably do preventative maintenance on that one too. So when it gets kind of tricky, I can't tell whether this is below or above the waterline. If it was above the waterline, the nice thing is that I can open it up and I wouldn't have water gushing out. If it's below the waterline, it will start dripping as soon as I open the cover plate there. So we're gonna get started. Okay, I loosen up most of the bolts that is holding these plates down. I took one bolt off already. I left most of the remaining ones in place and to try and just wiggle the plates out. The idea is if it starts streaming water and it wouldn't stop, which obviously as you can see it stopped, which is good news in general. So I think we can proceed, and I'm going to do just that. So one thing to keep in mind is that this plate and the whole impeller housing is made of brass. I know it's painted white, but through the cracks you can see it is yellow. What that means is that you really want to go easy on the power tools, because if you don't do it with care, you're gonna strip out the threads, and that would suck massively, because now you'll have water coming into your bilge and you have no way to stop it. Here goes the last one. Inspect this. Make sure that pretty healthy to me. GoPro, stop recording. Alright, so I inspected the vanes. They still look good. I don't see any cracking or any missing or broken deformed pieces here. So sometimes it's best to not fix what ain't broken. For now, I'm just gonna put the pump plate back on. I dabbed some of this what's that, silicone paste to form a gasket around it, and then I'm just gonna put the bolt back on. And yeah, I had ChatGPT check for me to make sure that the vanes are alright, and she seems to agree. So you want to tighten it very gently. That's why I don't have my fingers at the end of this wrench, just right next to the head. Should hold. We should also talk about this. Why silicone grease? Because the impeller is made of rubber. Oil melts rubber, and you don't want that. So this is how it all started. Where we lost a handle on this seatcock. And so I fixed another handle, but that handle is not the right handle for the seatcock. So what happened was it slipped, and the hole widened, and I didn't fully open. So I'm gonna try and open the seatcock. Instead of using the handlebar, I'm just gonna use a pair of vice grip. And I believe if this is close, I will need to turn it up. There you go. I'm gonna start the genset. GoPro, stop recording. GoPro. So I'm gonna start the genset to test and make sure that we put everything back together all right. And the way you do that is you heat it up. Voltage is flowing. Looks like a healthy amount of water. Cool. so good. Cool. One more thing I like to do before I close shop for the day is, since we have a lot of solar, we don't typically need the genset all that much. In fact, it's kind of like redundant at this point. But in order to store it for long term, I like to flush the genset so the cooling system and the heat exchanger is not full of salt water, which among other things cause corrosion. Some of them is galvanic ones, so any stray current will conduct through that salt or brine water. The annoying part to that is, you know, it means I'll have to replace the zinc more often. So now, even though I have closed the seacock right there, it doesn't fully close, so it's probably about time that whole thing should be replaced. But for now, what I want to do is I want to just gently rinse this off with fresh water, hot fresh water, so it descales the salt and dissolves them out. And that's it. I'm going to reopen it here just so that there is no surprises the next time we turn it on. Now, different people has different opinion about that. I like to leave it on in case I turn on the genset from inside. I don't want it blowing up because there is no water flowing through. That being said, it does make it riskier because the seacock is open, so there is this whole area is now pressurized, since they are probably about or right at the sea level. So yeah, that's it, folks, for the care and maintenance of a genset. This is an 8 kilowatt Northern Lights, and yeah, it's a pretty new genset, so I'd like to keep it new longer. Until next time, GoPro, stop recording.